let's start by, first of all, it's awesome to welcome you, Tommy, from the studio where I assume the magic happened with your album Andro. Right
Yeah,
there. You've been
yeah.
there for 2 years, right? You've
Oh
been
my
spending a lot
God.
of time down there.
I know, right? Look at him, like facial hair. Like I got to get out of this freaking room.
But
Damn.
you've been there long before
I know.
this COVID stuff, right? Didn't you spend like 2 years down there working on this album off and on?
I did actually. God, I started like in 2017. Yeah, like mid 2017. I started working on it after the Motley tour was done. I took a year off. I was like, I'm not doing music for like, I'm just gonna like reset it, clear it out, and just welcome fresh uh song ideas and stuff. So I did that. I made it about a year, and then I came down here and just all this stuff started pouring out, and the result is Andro. It's a pretty wild record.
Were you like burned out after Crew? Were you sort of like, obviously you would never quit music forever, but were you sort of like, I can't do music for a while?
Yeah, totally. I was so over it. Just burnt on just yeah on everything. It was like touring, music. I was just like, I want to do something I never get to do. I'm gonna do nothing. Just like literally, I did nothing, and I remember that time. My people around me were like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm not going to do anything. I promised myself." So I did that. I floated in my pool and did absolutely nothing for a year.
It's kind of ironic because now that's what people are doing, right?
I
Because
I
now we
know.
can't do anything, but you were ahead of the curve.
I know, right? Maybe I was prepping for it.
Well, obviously, it didn't take you that long to start doing stuff again. And the
Yeah.
press release for this album, Andro, says, I'm paraphrasing, but it says like it challenges basically what every perception people have of you.
Uh,
So explain to me, was that like your agenda, like to smash those expectations? Explain what that means.
well, I mean, it's funny because that quote in the press release is it's two things. I mean, people that know my work musically outside of Motley probably will be like, "Oh, he's doing his crazy thing again," which won't be much of a stretch. So part of that quote is not really that big of a difference. It's me doing my thing, and when I'm not in Motley, uh, there's not four chefs in the kitchen. There's one, and I do whatever it is I'm feeling. So that won't surprise people. People are like, "Oh, he's doing some crazy cool." Um, the fans that know me for Motley will probably be like, "Whoa, what's he doing?" And but I think they know too. I mean, I should probably get rid of that in the press thing because I don't think that's very accurate, honestly.
Well, yeah, it's not
Because
the
I think
first time you've done things that veer into electronic music, industrial music, rap rock. I mean, you've been
yes,
doing this since Methods of Mayhem, really.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, and and Motley fans know that too. It's definitely no shock to them.
Well, what's interesting to me is I'm curious your take on this in that, yes, there are the Motley fans who know this, and there are the Motley fans who like it. But there are, not to diss anyone, but there are a
Uh,
lot of rockists, as we like to say, who are kind of close minded. I see sometimes even when you post stuff of
uh,
like an artist you like on your Instagram, people will be like, where's the rock? You
I know,
know,
I know.
like you can only like or do one thing. And like, why is that? And obviously you do not care, but like
Yeah,
that's a thing that you get.
it's so crazy. Like, here's a great one. I typically don't read comments, and my manager's like, "Dude, I did this song with Post Malone and Tyler Yahweh, and it's called Tommy Lee. It's super rad." Um, and I never read comments. He's like, "You should read the comments, dude. Everyone's loving it." And I was like, okay." And what happens? I go to read some comments, and the first thing I see is some dude going, "Well, uh, it doesn't sound like Motley Crue. And I was like, dude, what the is wrong with you? This is so far away from Motley Crue. There's no one in Motley Crue in it but me, and I'm not in Motley Crue there. I'm playing drums with Post Malone and Tyler. Like, I just, that's why I don't read comments, because people are so, man, what's up? It's like, how heavy is that rock you've been living under? It's more like it. Like, what are you doing? So I don't read.
Yeah, but I just wonder why. I mean, do some of your fans want you to make a record that sounds like Crue? There's lots of Crue records they could listen to if that's what they want. You know what I mean? It's like, why wouldn't they want you to do something a little different?
I know. I trust me. It's one of those things that it's always in the, it's always floating around, and and on the new record there is some stuff, actually. I mean, it's in my DNA. I'm a drummer, and I play in Motley Crue also, and so that stuff does show up on the Andro record. There's some heavy stuff on there that I think some Crue fans would dig. I mean, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, but what
Yep.
I'm curious about is, so you've done solo records before where you did sing,
Mhm.
but on this one you don't. For the most
Yes.
part, I'm pretty sure you don't sing at all, right? Because it's all guest vocalists on every track.
Yes, this is correct.
So why did you choose to go that route for this one?
It was just really, I love collaborating with other artists, and I have like this running list of people that I was like, that either I'm like, oh my God, I love their work, I would love to work with them. Oh, I love their voice. And there's something that I adore about them, and I have uh, a running list here, and that as I'm making songs this time around, I was like, oh my God, this person would just murder this track. Like, just, it's got their name all over it. And I would reach out to them, and in a day or two, they're over here and we're doing the track. So I love collaborating with other people, and it's just something that I love, and making the music um is just as fulfilling as singing it. Sometimes it's more satisfying to uh you know you hear somebody's voice that you love, and you write this piece of music, and you hear that person's voice on this beautiful piece of music that you've written. It's just like, boom, done, nailed it. Like, there's satisfaction achieved. Like, this is insane, this is exactly what I was hearing.
But
It's
you
fun.
have a lot of different, awesome vocalists and rappers on this. You got Josh Todd, Mickey Avalon, Brooke Candy, but
Yes.
you reunite with Lukas Rossi.
Yeah.
I could spend an
Cookie.
hour speaking with you about Rockstar Supernova. God, I love that show. Pardon my French. I loved that show so much. I went to it. I went and stood in the
Oh,
front
no way.
row. Well, I've talked to Lukas about this. He wasn't thrilled that I went the night he sang Celebrity Skin, because that wasn't one of his better nights. But I still thought he rocked it. But yeah,
Yeah.
is this the first time that you and Lukas have recorded together since Rockstar Supernova?
No, we did some other stuff together, I think. Kind of in between that, we've obviously both been busy, but we've kind of sent music back and forth, and you know uh and collaborated. And during that process is where You Dancy and this Prince cover called When You Were Mine sort of came about. And we were like, I had this killer track called You Dancy that, of course, I'm like, Lukas would kill this, because Lukas has got that wild falsetto Princey kind of
Mm-hmm.
vibe. And then uh so we did that, and then um Lukas had this great idea to cover When You Were Mine. And at first I was like, I don't hear it, because the song is typically like really fast and poppy, like When You Were Mine, and like it's really fast and boppy, and like it's not what I wanted to do. And we slowed it down, and it is, I don't know if you've heard it yet, but it's probably what you've heard it.
I have the album. I've heard the whole album.
Oh, rad. We slowed it down, and it's dark and so sexy, and the words are eerie as hell now. When it's slowed down, I don't know if a lot of people noticed the lyrics before, but man, when you slow it down and hear what's going on, you're like, ooh,
it's like a stalker song.
Totally. Right? Yeah. So yeah, man. Lukey and I got to work a couple times on this record, and I can't ever say enough good things about him. I've loved him for a long time.
I will say, because I said I was a big fan of Rockstar Supernova. I know that the band that came out, that was kind of short-lived, but I feel the repercussions of that TV show. Do you feel it was ahead of its time? Because this was the Rock and Roll American Idol before we had Adam Lambert, before we had David Cook. This was a show that had people doing Jeff Buckley and Nirvana covers and Police covers and Killers covers before you saw that on American Idol, The Voice, or any of the other shows. Like, it was the Rock and Roll American Idol for people like us who,
it totally was ahead of its time. I mean, that thing brought on what we have today, I think, and some not so good, but yeah, it was real. It wasn't like karaoke with somebody up there just singing some dumb, like, I don't know. It was real. It's like real music, real, like bands, like a band playing, and like real performances. It wasn't like what we have now at all. And I really think that, Mark Burnett was, way ahead of his time in sort of, wanting to deliver that kind of thing to primetime America. Like, here is some real, and these guys are going to look for a singer. They're going to make a record. They're going to go on tour. And that's all it ever was to be. But it was a great experience. It was a great experience. And I think it's sort of, paved the way for a lot of the shows that are here today. Definitely.
100%. So obviously you've done different reality things over the years. And one thing I don't think people realize is, are you the Tommy Lee that co-wrote the debut single by Violet Chachki from RuPaul's? Is that you? Did you have a credit on that?
Yeah.
From RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yeah, I wrote the whole thing.
Wow.
I did, I wrote all the music and everything, and Violet did his thing. On the track with lyrics, but I basically built that track for Violet. Yeah, it was so rad.
How'd that come together?
God, this guy Thomas, producer, he said, "Hey man, I've got some people that are looking for tracks. What do you got kicking around?" And I'm like, "What's it for?" And he told me what it's for, and I go, "Oh, dude, I have a perfect track." Once again, me going like, "Oh, I know, this would be amazing." And I sent it to him, and he goes, "Dude, Violet loves it. We're doing it. Boom, 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 done." Like, it happened very quickly, but I had it kicking around for one of my tracks, and I just, it worked out perfectly, actually.
Well, let me put this out there. I've spoken more than once to Rob Halford, because Rob Halford wants to be a judge on a metal themed episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, which of course would make total sense, right?
Oh, totally.
We need to get you involved in that. Imagine it if everyone's like it will be called Looks That Kill. It'll be all these drag queens in like leather and studs and fire, like doing like those kind of like music video and you need to be part of it because you got the connection.
I'm down in 2 seconds. I love Rob, and I got a record called Andro coming out. I mean, Jesus, it would just be lovely, wouldn't it?
Well, while I've got on the subject of reality TV, I don't know if you noticed the pattern I'm wearing.
It is, well, it looks leopardy, but hold on, let me,
Does it look like a giraffe?
It does.
Are you the giraffe from The Masked Singer?
No.
Yes, you are. I saw it. I know it's you.
No, definitely not.
Come on. I swear
No.
to God, if you tell me it is, I will sign something saying we won't run it until after you win or are eliminated. But the clues added up. There was the roller coaster, okay?
Yeah.
Drummed up towering success. There was some stuff about when you took a musical risk that people like made fun of you, which is sort of what we were talking about before. I know this show very well. I pay attention. I saw the flicker in your eyes. You are the giraffe.
No, I'm not. I would tell you. I'd be like, yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I would tell you.
There was also that clue that said that you were happy to not have the focus on your voice, and that ties into this album because you're not singing on the album.
Whoa, those are a lot of clues that make sense.
Okay.
I can see why you would think it might be me. And I'm tall. Giraffe
it's
tall.
You fit the suit. I subliminally was trying to put this in there. Well, okay, so I get it. I know you signed like a 500,000 NDA and stuff like that. I would, in all seriousness, if you told me it was you, I swear to God, we would not spoil it. We would run it the day after.
I gotcha.
Okay.
I'll have to see. I got to see who this is, by the way. Now
it's you, but okay. I get it.
Not buying it.
If it is you, and I respect the fact that you don't want to see, if it is you, you're welcome to do a follow-up interview with me to talk about how you were the giraffe. But that's my theory. I take great pride in being right about 80% of the time.
Oh my God.
We'll see. I'm just saying it all adds up. They think it's Travis Barker. It's not. It's you.
No, it can't be Travis.
No, I didn't. I mean, because there was a drumming clue, but the other things, what sold it for me was the roller coaster.
Yeah, what's up with that? That's weird.
I know what's up with that.
Yeah, look at you. You are so convinced.
I take great pride in, I mean, the others that have already aired, this was last week's episode, the premiere, I'm on the fence about, but that's the one I felt the most confident about. And I was so ready because I already had this interview scheduled. I was so ready to,
You're like, I'm getting it.
All right. Well, back to Andro. And like I said, we can have a follow-up conversation when it turns out I'm right. But even though we were talking about how this record has a lot of elements on it that aren't necessarily rock, there is that. And certainly the opening track, I think it's called Knock Me Down. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Knock Me Down.
Yeah.
That's a very angry track. And the first time I heard it was on the Instagram, your wife's Instagram, where she's like rocking out, probably where you're sitting right now, and like pulling the chair out and stuff. So yeah, it starts off with a lot of gnarly anger right there. And I'm curious, I think she even captured it with something like, you need to blow off some steam. Here's the track for you. So
totally.
What was inspiring this record, particularly like that kind of like you said, there are dancey songs that are not angry, but there is that. So what was inspiring this record while you were writing it over the last couple of years?
Well, you know what inspired that is that's just me, like having, a crazy idea and just being rowdy. Like and that's that, metal part of me coming out while I was making music. It's just a track that I started making. I was like, oh my God, this is heavy. And as the track came together, I was like, oh man, Kilvane would, again, he would just smash the hell out of this. And I sent it to him. Funny story. I hit him. I DM'd him on Instagram, and I found out later, he's like, dude, the first time I got your message, I was like, what is this? This isn't Tommy. And he did some research, and he was like, oh, it is him. So he hit me back, and I was like, dude, come on over here. Let's rock it. He heard the track, and he's like, oh my God, I'm all over it. So again, a couple of days later, he was over here, pulling chunks off the microphone from his throat.
I was curious if that song or any of the other, more angry songs, because like Brittany said in her Instagram, do you need to blow off some steam? I don't know what the timeline was of when you were writing certain tracks, but I was wondering if there were like, current, it was obviously, I'm sure pre-COVID, but like current events, politics, people getting angry on social media, like if there was anything topical or timely that was inspiring that kind of rage, because it had that Rage Against the Machine feel to me,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah, yeah, totally. I wish I could connect it to something like that, but um, I actually had a rough version of that back when I was on tour with Motley on the final tour. I have a studio in my bus, and that had been an idea that I had kind of started, and I put it away. I'm like, oh, I got to get back to this one. This is cool. And then I resumed when I got home. But so that one, not really inspired by anything other than being on tour and just being rowdy. And I was like, oh, this is a banger.
But is there anything else on the record that sort of speaks to anything topical? I mean, not necessarily political, but just like the general, you know, unrest in the world, or you know, we're in some dark times, which is a
Yeah.
time when I want to listen to stuff like that, when I want to be like, you know, and like
Yeah.
punch in the air. And
I hear you. Um, you know, all this stuff was written and done before, um, sort of, well, it's been crazy for a while, so I can't say that, but uh, it was pretty much done before a lot of, like, you know, the pandemic and a whole different lifestyle change and everything being crazy. So a lot of it was done before that. I think I was generally just inspired by being, you know, just having my head cleared and having just this space, you know, um, of just like, let's just create, let's just get on tape what's in there. So there's not really anything in particular, like, you know, I would just, you know, be creatively, I would just have an idea and I'd come down here and get it going. So I don't think there wasn't really anything sort of inspiring it either way. Just creativity, just where my crazy dark street in my head was at that day.
the reason I asked is because, you know, not just you, but a lot of your peers in metal have sort of become, I guess, more politically outspoken than they used to be. It's not just you, but also like Dee Snider, Axl Rose, you know, Sebastian Bach or whatever. And
Yep.
I know you say you don't read the comments in general, but have you gotten any flack from your fans for, you know, just speaking your mind? I know that those people they don't seem to care, but
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. All the time, you know, I one that I see constantly, which is the most unintelligent answer, typical, uh, and predictable, is, hey, you should just stick to drums, dude. Stay out of politics. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because I'm a drummer, does that mean I don't have an opinion? I can't use my voice. I can't say that what is happening right now is absolutely mad, right? Like, just stick to drums. So is that all I'm allowed to do? You know what? We'll go yourself. Because yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, everyone gets that, even artists that are like actually overtly political, like Tom Morello will be told,
Yeah, he's
don't, like, why do people feel like people should just shut up and sing and not have an opinion on anything?
I know, it's so weird. I wonder if they feel like, you know, music and musicians and, you know, that whole thing for them is an escape.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe when we pull in reality into what is their release and their fantasy, they're like, dude, just leave it out. Like, you're my go-to away from all that. So I understand that part. I do. I get that.
Yeah, I
Um,
suppose.
but it's still, muting somebody that's not really helping anything either. But I do understand how they people would want you to keep that stuff separate. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. Uh, I'm trying to think of another scenario, like involving a guy and a girl, you know, where the girl keeps bringing up something that is maybe not, you know, I'm
No way.
babbling now, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it is just, really bums people out, and when it should be maybe kept separate. I don't know. That's a weird one.
Well, one thing that did provide some escapist entertainment for all of us last year, and actually facilitated a resurgence of, I know we're talking about your solo record, but definitely facilitated a resurgence of the Crew, was the Dirt movie. So,
Hey,
which I loved. I'm curious. I mean, I know Machine Gun Kelly just put out a record. He really nailed it, don't you think? What did you think of his performance in the Dirt?
he's smashed it. Excuse me. I tell people this all the time, and I've just never seen anybody put in that much effort and determination to nail something ever. He calls me up when he got the part. He's like, "Dude, you're not going to believe this," and I'm like, "What?" He goes,
"Did you know him already?"
"Yeah, I've known him for a couple years,
okay.
right before, yeah." And he's like, "Dude, you ready? Are you ready for this?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Dude, I'm playing you in the movie," and I was like, "What?" Like, I had no idea. And he's like, "Dude, I can't even believe this. I'm gonna make you so proud. I'm gonna nail this. I got the script. I'm coming over, and I want to go through it line by line with you, and you tell me exactly how it went down, or if it didn't go down like that, how was it? Like, I want to know every single detail." So he came over. We went through it several times. And then he went out and took like 4 months of drum lessons to
Oh,
learn.
wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, who does that for a role? Like, it was just incredible. And he learned all my mannerisms, how I spin the sticks and bounce the sticks off the drum. And
Maybe he's the giraffe.
did I just blow it? No.
Who knows? But yeah, he really nailed like all your mannerisms and your facial expressions, and like he really became you.
It's funny because when I first met him years ago, um, I was like, we got along immediately, and we're so much alike. It's scary, It's like that we do the same dumb, and we actually walk the same. We have that same. We're both the same height, same build. He's the blonde version of me, and vice versa. It's kind of crazy.
So the Dirt book, obviously that the movie was based on, is my favorite rock memoir autobiography ever, because some of them you feel like, okay, they sugarcoated things or they left something out. That was not the case with the Dirt. Nothing was left out. Nothing was sugarcoated. But of course, not all of it could be in the movie. Some stuff, it ended at a certain point and it skipped over certain points. It skipped over a lot of personal stories, like, your marriage to Pamela and stuff is not in the book or whatever, or not in the movie, I should say. But
yeah,
when you look at
it only covered the book, which was, I think, the book ends at, don't quote me on this, but yeah, it's only the time period of the book, right?
But I'm curious, was there anything that you guys talked about, or is there a director's cut or whatever? Was there anything that like almost made it into the film, but didn't, like, for whatever reason, because it was too crazy or too hard to recreate or anything like that?
No, nothing at all, which is amazing to me. And I gotta just give mad props to Jeff Tremaine. I still don't know how, in an hour and 30 minutes, however the length of the movie is, how did he possibly get what he got in that amount of time and have it make sense and have it play out, without it jumping all over the place and not feeling right. I don't know how he did that, because that's truly amazing. I mean, it's insane.
It's funny because I saw the movie when I got a press screener of it before it came out, and I made the mistake of watching it at the office. We don't have our own offices. It's open plan, and I got like my big screen, and the opening scene comes by, and someone walks right by my desk. I'm like, no. So
is she watching porn?
Pretty much. That opening scene is pretty much that.
Yeah, so, it is.
I was curious. Obviously, we live in the era that is covered in the Dirt, in the book, in the movie, is a different time. And there's certain stuff. I've talked about this with Bret Michaels. I've talked about this with Slash, with, Duff McKagan, whoever. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's certain things from that era that, if we look at through the lens of now, haven't aged well or seem un-PC or whatever. So I'm wondering, when you were approaching the book and you want, or approaching the film, and you want it to be um, accurate and, faithful adaptation of what it was like to live through that era, like, was there any trepidation about how things would be perceived in, like, the Me Too era, like, people who aren't, I get it that it's supposed to be a time that's past, but
Yes.
some of that stuff doesn't fly now, as you know. So what
Right.
was the concern about making it be the right tone?
It's funny because, and that's why we chose Jeff, because Jeff A is a huge fan, and he guaranteed us. I mean, because we were concerned. We were like, wait, this he's done Jackass. Like, this isn't a comedy, you know. This is a serious story with a lot of drama, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of crazy. And he's like, guys, I swear to God, there's nobody else that can make this movie. I got this. And I'm gonna take everybody right back to that time, because that time is so precious. I mean, it was a run it till the wheels fall off, anything goes. This is a crazy time. And he goes, I down to the telephones and the wardrobe and the settings, I'm going to recreate it, because I want to take everybody back to that time, because there will never be that time again. And he did it, because I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who are younger folks who never will never see that again, and they're so bummed. They're like, God, I feel like I just missed out on the coolest time ever to be alive. And my only way to see that is through the movie. And I get it, it's completely different. This is before cell phones, and I mean, the we got away with, dude, uh,
Yeah.
got away with murder.
Is there
And
anything what you look back on, whether it's something you did in your own behavior or certain music video or lyrics, where you're just like, uh, that I shouldn't have done that, or that doesn't seem right, or I mean, is there
you know,
anything? Do you have any sense of shame or regret? You don't seem like a kind of man who lives with any regrets, but who
yeah,
knows?
I don't, just because, if there is um any sort of like, whoa, I can't even believe I did that, or we did that. You know, those moments are all, we have no control over that stuff. um and they're put in our path, for to either learn from, to grow from, or to, so I don't really regret anything. And those are all, that's life, man. You do stuff, and you do stupid and you go, okay, well, that hurt, I'm not going to do that again. Or, you know what I mean? They're just, they're I think all those things are put in front of you, for a reason, to make you a better person. Um and so, no regrets here. I'm actually, I get really excited when I hear from people saying, like, man, God, I wish I could go back to that time. That makes, I feel like I was part of something really, really unique, and that no a lot of people won't ever be a part of. It's pretty wild if you think about it. It's
But you're sober now, right?
Yeah,
And you've been sober for how long?
yeah, like, in like 2 weeks it'll be a year.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
So what
Yeah.
made you, I didn't realize it was that recent. I thought it was more like 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
What happened a year ago that made you decide to get sober?
it was I mean, I've been sober for 4 years. I've been sort of on and off for a long time. I go through these phases where, I want to live a different life, and all the dumb, and then I decide, you know what? I don't want to live like that anymore. I want to have fun and play and be up and stupid and all that. So I you know, it's weird for me. It's always just sort of this particular instance. I had been home, and I'll tell you this right now. Idle time at home, not touring, just being at home. I did what told you. I just enjoyed being home. I literally did nothing. I would just float around, drink, and just drink. And what's crazy, and I didn't notice it until towards the end of it, when I was like, oh dude, I gotta stop. This is insane. Like, I was drinking, it's just out of boredom. I would just wake up and just build just all vodka and just a little eyedropper of cranberry or a lemonade or something. Literally straight vodka. I was drinking 2 gallons, not pint, not gallons, the big handles, a day. That's crazy. Like, and you know, going to get a full checkup with the doctor and stuff. He's like, dude, I don't know what the deal is with you, but your liver's fine. You're super healthy. Like, what are you made of? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, for most people, they'd probably have, you know, destroyed a bunch of stuff. But anyway, that's not important. What's important is, I just realized, like, whoa, dude, this is, you're drinking enough to, like, you could probably die. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even phasing me. I was just like, oh yeah, whatever. It's, you know what I mean? That's kind of crazy. I just became sort of immune to it, and realized, whoa, this is a lot. Like, this isn't good. So it was time for me to pump the brakes, and you know, just get just get rid of it for a while. I don't
Was
know
your
if it's a forever thing, but for now, I'm not drinking vodka today.
was your wife, because I know you just kind of recently celebrated your 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Was she involved in this, you know, this decision to sort of pump the brakes on that? Was she concerned to see you drinking in that kind of volume?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, yeah, she wasn't like, she was, yeah, concern is that's probably the right word. She was like, baby, I don't know, I don't think I've ever even seen anybody drink that much. Like, you're kind of scaring me. Like, not scaring her as in like violent or
Right.
or that kind of thing. Just like, you're scaring me. Like, I'm scared. Like, are you gonna wake up? You know, am I gonna wake up to, like, you know, you not breathing, you know, that kind of scaring. And I was like, you know, that sucks. I can't, that's not cool
Hmm.
to have you worry like that. And it's worrying me, you know, like, um, but yeah, she was definitely concerned, and her concern obviously helped in my decision uh, to just go, get out of here. I bailed for like, over a month, and just was like, that's it. I'm done for a while.
What do you mean you bailed? Did you go
I
to?
went to rehab, yeah.
Oh, I was unaware of that. We're
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
you're so this was you took this seriously. This wasn't just like I'm gonna like not drink for a little while. You
Yeah, yeah,
okay? All right.
yeah.
Well, it seems to be working out. I know I need
Thanks.
to wrap real soon, but I did want to ask. You said like you went to the doctor
Yeah,
and he was surprised at what good health you're in, which I'm
yeah.
happy to hear.
I'm like, did you get my papers mixed up with another guy with the last name Lee? Because there's got to be something
Well,
like,
that's the question is like how are you still alive basically? This is just one of the few many times you've put
I
yourself
know.
in harm's way, right? Like
I
how?
I know. I must have a horseshoe stuck in my butt. Like, I just, I'm really lucky. I'm grateful, and I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. Somebody's obviously looking out for me, because that shouldn't be the case. You know what I mean? So I was doing some pretty serious damage that would probably hurt anybody else badly. You
Well,
know?
I'm glad that you went, you know, to rehab and got help, and obviously you're keeping busy, which is, you know, good because when you said before being idle was
Ooh,
are you trying to keep is that why you're doing all this music now is to make sure you don't get bored and especially in quarantine and start, you know, drinking again or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely have to. I'm one of those guys that has to keep myself busy. I'm always working on new music. I'm actually recording today some drums on this 24K Golden and Machine Gun Kelly track. So I mean, I'm always
awesome.
Always doing constantly.
Yep, being the giraffe, you know.
That man, that's taking up a lot of my time.
You admitted it. You admitted it.
That thing takes forever to put on. It's so ridiculous.
Well, I'm glad you're staying busy doing whatever it is you're doing, making music. The Andro record is great. Glad you're staying sober and you know all things are going well for you. So thank you for taking the time. It's always lovely to chat with you, and hopefully next time it'll be in person.
Yay, Lindsay. Nice to see you too, sweetie. You have a good day, and
you too.
I'm sure I'll see you somewhere soon.
All right, sounds good. Take care.